Welcome to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Today, we'll show you how to use the spirit of love and self-worth to improve the connections with everyone else in your life. This program is your weekly gift, and it will keep on giving. You'll see. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jean Marie Farish.
Greetings and a hearty welcome, everyone. I hope you're all faring well. I'm Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host, coming to you, shining love light into your hearts and homes to uplift, inspire, and empower you to create a life you love. Our show today, Fact or Fiction, the AI BEAST Unchained with Gary Stuart, will provide knowledge and insight to stimulate our awareness about the dawning of this new technological age. The rapid advancement in technology is quite complex, with concerns that may be difficult for us to foresee. In an article by Kristalina Georgieva entitled, AI Will Transform the Global Economy, Let's Make Sure It Benefits Humanity, she highlights that AI will affect almost 40% of jobs around the world, replacing some and completing others. And we need a careful balance of policies to tap its potential. Moreover, an article by Steve Nadas on the promise and pitfalls of artificial intelligence explored at TEDx MIT highlights a discussion by 10 MIT scientists about the future of AI with applications across many sectors as a tool that can be both beneficial and harmful. We may marvel at technological advances without being aware of the impact of machines being able to perform human tasks, but they do not have heart and soul. There are many benefits, including efficiency, convenience, a vast range of digital assistance, but there are concerns raised about the dehumanization of society, discouraging critical thinking, job loss, mass unemployment, and displacement. So, how can AI serve in the best interest of mankind? What are the challenges in this new technological age? What can we do for protection and empowerment? Our phenomenal guest, Gary Stuart, has done extensive research and study on this topic. Founder of the Constellation Healing Institute, Gary is a global impact journalist, activist, organizer, artist, provocateur, plus a 6-time best-selling author. His forthcoming book is AI Fact or Fiction, The Beast Unchained. Other books include Propaganda Syndrome, Venus Envy, Ancestral Intelligence, Quantum Activation, Healing Human History, and so many others. Gary will share more about his foundation and other things that he's involved with. So now I am honored to bring forth our guest today, Gary Stuart, on our show, Fact or Fiction, the AI Beast Unchained. Gary, welcome to Love Light.
Hi, thank you very much. That was quite an introduction. I'm very busy, as are you.
And we're so excited about this episode today. Can you share with our listeners what inspired your work in this area and your role as a global impact journalist and activist organizer?
Well, I like to find subjects that are current rather, and go behind the scenes of things that aren't generally broadcast on this new so-called legacy media. So it's like pulling the curtain back a little bit and doing a little deeper research than what the headlines are promoting is like, just say AI is the best thing since baked bread, which it may seem like that, but when you pull the curtain back, there's lots of other things people aren't talking about. So I like to expose those hidden realities that don't make it to media, or they conveniently edit it out so you don't think there's any danger.
Mm-hmm. And you're really serving a wonderful purpose here. And Gary, there's lots of inventions and things we don't understand. And sometimes we jump on the bandwagon without sufficient knowledge and information. So, talk about the new developments in the technological age and what is AI exactly?
Well, AI is basically machine learning, but they're programming the AI. So they started off with language models, which some people are using in school for programs for kids and stuff to accelerate learning and whatever. But it's also been used, which we don't realize if we order on Amazon, it's kind of keeping track of every purchase we made, and that you might get a pop up that says, "Oh, you bought this in July," and you're there. Well, how did Amazon know that? And then some people use Alexa, which I feel is spyware. Personally, I don't trust some of these things at all. Sure, they seem like convenient, but they're recording everything. Excuse me, I'm sorry. To the point of your smart TV kind of even off watching what you do in your house. So there's an element in all this of unseen, let's say, dangers, separate from the radiation that's coming from all this technology. It also can be spying on us and creating what they call a digital twin.
That's really interesting. And I like as I shared earlier, there are advantages. Let's talk a little bit about the advantages or the pros as we move into, segue into the, things that we need to be aware of
Right,
and the
exactly.
disadvantages. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So the advantage of it makes things seamless and you get notifications like, say you have a fraud on your bank account or whatever, and instantaneously you get a note, hey, someone's making a purchase, blah, blah, blah. Well, everything feeds into the communication system, which is generally run by 5G these days. So the good news is this instantaneous communication when you say you have fraud on a bank account, you get a notice or a text on your phone. Do you know someone's buying 10 Apple iPhones in New York? And I'm there, well, I'm in Arizona or California, and I'm not in New York buying iPhones. Apple seems to be one of the bigger fraud things that are out there, believe it or not, and that people are going after creating false accounts. So you have to be aware. I mean, I add fraud alerts, credit freezes, because it's happened to me a couple times minor. We caught it in advance due to the warnings. So the positive things, you can get instantaneous warnings that something shady is going on, or even on your emails, you'll try to open a link and it'll say scam alert, dangerous page, phishing, PHISHING, which means they're trying to entrap you in some diabolical scheme to rob you, by something online, or you get messages, someone's made a purchase in your name and blah blah blah. I just got a thing just yesterday. It said, oh yeah, we've charged $500 for your new Geek Squad membership. I'm not a membership. I did about 10 years ago, but I'm not now. So isn't it interesting? They would send an automated notice that they just charged me 500 yesterday. So I just put it in a folder saying I'll address it later. Those people could be trying to digitally get a hold of your information. Even if you answer it, you've confirmed that it's you. So it's important not to answer it because you're giving confirmation, or they say call this number, but it could be their number under Geek Squad, which is trying to get your credit card to reverse the charge, but you're giving them your credit card information to save from this purchase, but they're actually crooks using the system and pasting Geek Squad or Bank of America or whatever. And I've even had something from Bank of America. They pasted the logo on it. And then I looked at it had a foreign email like Italy or something like that. And I said, well, Bank of America doesn't use Italian email. So there's a scammer. But you have to keep your eyes open because a lot of things look legit, and somehow they get access to things that you use every day and then put it together to create a scam or an illegal theft.
Thanks for sharing that. And, those kinds of things have happened to me, and I'm sure other listeners out there. And we have to be alert and attentive because our emails and phones are flooded with texts and, emails that are not legit. So thanks for sharing how we need to be alert.
Yes.
Because there is this impact. We have to constantly adjust, adapt, and prepare for this rapid pace of technological advances. And you in your book, you talked about AI opening Pandora's box.
Yes.
Can you really talk about things that we need to be aware of in terms of those disadvantages and
Well,
concerns?
there's good there's good things about it, and there's bad things. Like when I'm doing my book, say I use Microsoft Word a lot, it'll say this word is misspelled, and then you click on the word, it gives you the correct spelling. So that's, but the thing is Microsoft recording every word that I do, and there's news out there that some companies, I'm not sure if Microsoft, I heard Microsoft's new Copilot does it, that they take a screenshot of everything you're doing on your computer and feed it into their AI, which is at the moment is called Azure, like the blue seas, the Azure seas of the Mediterranean, Azure. So that's when I did that, I was signing up for Copilot. It's a free app just to investigate a little bit. And then when I found out it was recording everything I do on my computer, I don't want that kind of invasion. We got to definitely talk about surveillance and privacy today, because
Yes.
that's also connected to AI. So I uninstalled the Copilot when I found that out, and it was stopping me from actually doing things and censoring some words that weren't profanities, but it's censored a word. So there's that aspect we should talk about as well, censorship.
Please feel free to move forward and talk about the issue of surveillance and privacy and
Yeah,
censorship.
well, and it's all interconnected to 5G. So I started a website with a partner of mine, Zap Films, exploring 5G. But all this digital communication through AI is generally 5G, and 6G is coming. If you go to Costco Electronics, all the routers and everything for your computer are, say, 6G. So they're going to announce probably later this year the 6G, which is 10 to 100 times stronger than 5G, which is highly toxic microwave radiation. But that keeps the grid or the network together. So if you look at the negative side of AI, that means they can spy on you very much like China, with eventually installing social credits or having your facial image. And it's scary to think of the military applications of this, which Google signed on just yesterday to use their AI capabilities for weaponization and military uh, let's say less than life supporting services,
Mhm.
which is pretty scary. So we have to be aware. It's not, they sell it as it's, real convenience, like, say you ordered a book on Amazon on whatever, then all of a sudden you'll get a pop up on Amazon about other books that are of that topic. We did an experiment once. Some friends of mine were visiting from Michigan, and we said, let's turn our phones off and have a communication. We were going to the Grand Canyon, mind you. They had never been. We went to the South Rim, had a little bite to eat, blah, blah, blah. So on the way home, we all turned our phones on, and there were camping equipment on
Goodness.
5 phones that were turned off while we were at the Grand Canyon.
Interesting.
So the phones are off, and you're selling us camping equipment on 5. We also look at our phones. We have camping equipment. So it geo positioned us at the Grand Canyon with the phones off,
That's
and then
interesting.
started to put ads on our phone about camping because we were at the Grand Canyon.
So it's like you were always being tracked. I've
Well,
noticed that about things that I research or do, and I'm like, okay, I just thought about that or Google something about it, and now I'm flooded with all the yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
the thing is, the digital convenience, of course, it's good, but does that mean it's spying on us? And worse than that, it's recording all the data of all our movements, whether it's a
Mm.
GPS movement. My car, of course, has GPS on it. The newer cars are pretty computerized. So am I being tracked in my car? Am I being tracked when I'm online? Do they put so when I spoke about digital twin, some of the theories about the coming digital age is they're keeping all those likes and dislikes and purchases and movements, and then recording it. Like sometimes I turned it off on Google. They said, here's where you've traveled the past month. They gave me a map
Oh
of
my
where my
goodness.
car went all over back and forth, and I turned off the Google mapping on my vehicle, or my phone was in the car. If it didn't do it with the car stuff, which it probably isn't authorized to do, it did it because my phone was in the car, and I have a Samsung, which is Android Google-based platform. So I didn't ask them to record all my movements, but here it is with a monthly report that I didn't ask for.
And the tracking is like, so we did it. I mean, what can, we invaded your privacy.
Right,
There's
exactly.
nothing we can do about it. And I'd like to touch on this question because, you mentioned something about AI codes, how they can reprogram. And of course, we're going to be coming up on a break shortly.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into too much until after the break. But
sure.
we'll briefly just address this question. It's being programmed by someone who's controlling, monitoring,
yes,
dictating everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a little bit about that? Because we're not in control of that, and everything is being programmed by other entities who are watching and tracking.
Right. And you have to look at who the programmers are. There's a great Netflix special. It was Black-oriented, and she said all 99% of the programmers of AI and computers, and she was at MIT, like a diversity area of MIT, and she said, if white people are giving all the programming in, well, the AI program is going to have a white bias because white people, so she was there. Now, on the negative side to that, when they fed the founding fathers of the United States in the computer, it came up with 7 black men. So somebody was programming the DEI bias against white people into the visual program. So AI has a large language model. It's called LLM. That's language, words, word processing, helping you finish a sentence. Let's orchestrate it better. And then they also fed the entire internet of images on Earth into AI. So the good news is, in the medical field, it fed all the images of every form of cancer into AI. So when an oncologist has someone doing an MRI and they see, say, breast tissue, they're not sure what it is or whatever, they will ask the AI, and the AI will scan 1 trillion images saying, boom, this particular image is representative of this cancer. And that can actually assist the doctor in a positive way by showing him that image, giving a match to that image. If the doctor said, well, I think it's this, the AI said, no, it's this. I checked every image in my memory. So there's a positive thing in Western medicine. If you're a believer in Western medicine, how AI can support you medically by giving the doctors more accuracy through images that are fed into the medical system of AI.
That's fantastic information. That's helpful for healthcare and medical advancement.
Yes.
And I think we're up for a brief commercial break. And this is such a great episode here. So we're going to come back shortly. Stay tuned for our listeners for more on Fact or Fiction, the AI Beast Unchained, with our outstanding guest, Gary Stuart, founder of the Constellation Healing Institute, global impact journalist, activist, organizer. He's a 6-time best-selling author, and we will return shortly with strategies for protection and empowerment. We'll return shortly. Stay tuned.
Announcing Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations. This is the companion piece to Dr. Farish's best-selling book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being. Through the new book, we invite you to cultivate a lifestyle of love through daily devotional practices over a 21-day period, following 9 ingredients in the recipe of love. Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations, is available on Amazon.com and Balboa Press.
Jean Marie Farish's Center for Conscious Loving, LLC, cultivates a lifestyle of love and wholehearted connections through personal growth, altruistic services, and speaking engagements. Resources include classes, workshops, life care coaching, and creative service projects with an emphasis on cultural arts. Visit the website at drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com. That's drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com. Or click the link on the Love Light show page.
Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to publishedmagazine.com. Vicki Winterton and Dr. Jean Marie Farish have compiled a dynamic book, We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another, an anthology with 24 highly diverse co-authors who share how to spread the message of love, resilience, inclusivity, and compassion. This book is an invaluable source of uplifting, inspiring, and positive insights for spreading positivity in the world. We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another is available on Amazon.com. Be sure to get your copy today. Follow Voice America at Facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Welcome back to Love Light, living in the spirit of love. And if you are just joining us, we are with our amazing guest, Gary Stuart, founder of the Constellation Healing Institute, global impact journalist, activist organizer, 6-time best-selling author. On our show today, Fact or Fiction, the AI BEAST Unchained. And Gary, thank you so much for sharing some of the advantages and disadvantages of AI and technological advances. And in this segment, I'd love for you to talk about strategies for empowerment and protection. But I do have one question that we talked about before.
Yes.
You talked about how AI can write its own codes.
Yes.
Oh, that was kind of scary.
Absolutely. And it's not just me saying this, I'm reporting it. So
Okay.
Oprah did a Netflix special on AI. She talked to the FBI, Bill Gates, Sam Altman of OpenAI. He's the inventor, or his company is the inventor of ChatGPT, where you can ask AI a question and we'll give you the answer. And I've been using, for the book, I've been using Anthropic AI. That's a person who left OpenAI and started their own AI company, and his chat. So I put some of this stuff into the chat questions in my book, and I let AI answer it. Then I paste it onto the book document to get AI's version of my question answered.
Interesting.
And it's fascinating. More than not, the AI bot, if you want to call it a bot or whatever you want to call it, it will say it's out of my range. So I had posted something. It wasn't directly about the election, or it was about government policy on AI. And it said, well, Joe Biden is the president, like he won the election, blah, blah, blah. He said, but my information was only programmed through July 24th, 2024, before the election. So how did the AI bot said that Joe Biden won the re-election campaign, which is a lie, which Donald Trump did? So who programmed the AI to say that Joe Biden had already won the forthcoming election in November, in July? That's interesting. So who was the programmer who programmed political information, assuming that was the outcome 4 months before the election? So one thing, let's say a negative about AI, which people should be aware of, what they're finding out, even ChatGPT or whatever. So I'll finish that. When he finished the program, Oprah said, so how do you program? He said, the scary thing about AI, it's starting to write its own program without any human input. Like and he said, the genie, he basically said the genie's out of the bottle. And I'm talking to the government weekly how we can avoid that. And it's especially going to get dangerous because Microsoft just bought 3 Mile Island nuclear plant that's about 50 years old just to power their Azure AI. So they're using nuclear plants. So the danger of that I see is, can't AI override the human security code to run the plant? Does the AI know that radiation from a nuclear explosion will kill human beings where it's non-human? Can it make that emotional decision that there's danger? Or is it just in a mental space? Need more power, fire it up, stronger, stronger, stronger. I need more power, I need more energy. So that's kind of the diabolical negative side that could happen if AI starts to block out humans to achieve its own goals.
Well, as I said earlier, it does not have heart and soul.
Absolutely.
I think, the aspect of dehumanization of, society, we have to really take note of that, and to not just take things for granted, become knowledgeable, which your book is fantastic. That's going to be coming out. To become more knowledgeable, to become more aware. Don't just take things for granted.
Right,
because
exactly.
I think AI has an effect on critical thinking.
Absolutely.
And laziness and thought. It's like, okay, we don't have to, we just depend on this for the information.
Right.
But that's being programmed somewhere by someone.
Right. And even if it gives its own answer like that, you have to discern, no, that's not true. So what they're finding is the Chat GPT and other programs are wrong about 44% of the time. That means AI programs with certain information could be giving you misinformation or the wrong information. 44, that means it's only 60% truthful. So now with this, that's why the advent of quantum computing. So just 2 weeks ago, this stuff is really new. It's happening live as we speak. 2 weeks ago, they put NVIDIA is one of the big AI companies that's now worth a few $1 trillion. They put their processes together rather than one AI processor. You could call it the chip that runs a computer. So they did a cluster of processors, 75 to 150 of them, to get a supercomputer that would make less mistakes. So they're calling it a cluster, which leads to quantum AI, where that cluster is feeding all those chips, trillions of bits of information into one, let's say, quantum source to get the correct answer. And they're finding quantum AI, which is coming, believe it or not. If AI is not enough, now we're going to have quantum bits of information that will be more accurate. But of course, it's going to be more costly. The power it takes to run 75 to 150 chips to get to the quantum level of a singular, like, say, information source is going to take a tremendous amount of energy, electricity to do that. And you have to keep all those servers cool, whether it's at a data center. So Donald Trump, of course, once he took office, said, we're going to build data centers all over the United States. Well, who's going to keep all those data centers cool? And what is Microsoft going to do if it doesn't? Well, 3 Mile Island is kind of on a delta, so it can use the river water to keep it cool. But what are they going to do if it overheats and they fry themselves, or they won't listen to humans? Do you pull the plug on the power system and then everyone's power goes out because the AI has kind of sucked all the electrical power that runs our homes into the program?
Gary, what impact does it have environmentally or on just the natural resources that we rely on?
Yeah. Well, it needs a tremendous amount of water to keep it cool. So as we know, if a nuclear plant doesn't have water to cool the reactors, it can explode. You know what I mean? Like Fukushima, because the power is cut off because of the tsunami, it lost power and all 4 reactors blew up instantaneously within minutes because they got so hot without water cooling them down. They blew up. Well, what if AI wants to keep its power going, even though there's not enough water and it can't access enough water? It's going to unintentionally blow itself out because it doesn't understand that water keeps it cool. Whether it's 3 Mile Island, Google also bought 3 nuclear plants the same week that Microsoft bought. So there is a danger of having AI run nuclear just for its programs, and it needs a vast amount of water. I mean, our NSA, the National Security Agency of the United States, has data centers after 9/11 where they're recording everyone's phone call and keeping it in a database, like TSA style, to keep us safe from terrorists, allegedly. And it's in Springdale, Utah, which is right near Zion National Park. And there was a report: where is Springdale going to find the water to keep the data center computers cooled? Because
Mhm.
you have to hold on to this information and data 24/7, 365, with
Mm.
those computers holding all the data together. Now you're adding AI to the mix, and where's all this water going to come from? A bunch of them are in Texas. Elon Musk said, even Trump said, Texas will, and even OpenAI ChatGPT said they're opening data centers in Texas. So how much water does Texas have to run 4 or 5 data centers,
Mhm.
with different
Mhm.
companies? And Texas
Mhm.
is more on the arid side, not unless they're near the rivers, that are feeding whatever
Mhm.
reservoirs. But you need water for human life, not just in a cooling and AI program.
Well, thanks for sharing that. So, in this segment, how do we cultivate a responsible, safe, prosperous environments in the midst of rapid technological advancements? What can we do to ensure strong governance with the consideration for the people? And I know I'm putting on a lot here, but
Yeah, yeah.
strategies for protection and empowerment. What can we do? Because sometimes we feel like, okay, it's nothing I can do about it.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, we have to keep the pressure on our government officials. Like, Trump's second day in office, he had Larry Ellison. He's the founder of Oracle, with Oracle AI, called OCI, is their AI division of Oracle, which is a major computer company like Microsoft, Oracle, Google. They're in those top 10. And, they want to spend $500 billion, which is $500 billion, on this. But, they think it's the best thing since sliced bread, which from their mindset it is, but they want the federal funding to back it or whatever. But the other thing is, then the second day after that, Larry Ellison says, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, we'll be able to spy on every American here, which takes it into the Chinese social credit system. And, which could
Mhm.
be ultimate surveillance of every single thing being fed into, say, Oracle's AI, which is government sponsored, if that all goes through. Now they're saying 2 weeks later, there's not enough funding for the government to fund that kind of experiment, but they're still out there doing their work. Because mind you, these are all billionaires, and it's their latest play toy, their latest shiny object that they
Mhm.
just want to like hypnotize the world is the best thing you can't live without. When, as we always find out 10 or 20 years later, what were we thinking?
Mhm. Yes, the aftermath. And
Yes,
what
always.
what can we do in our communities or with our government? I mean, is there anything that we can do to empower ourselves or become more aware? Because in this technological age, information is everywhere, and you just highlighted
Absolutely.
what can I believe? What's true? What's not
Right,
true?
exactly.
What
Well,
what can we do? What, and I know your book is just fantastic in sharing
yeah,
strategies and ways
yeah,
to
yeah.
empower
Well, I
ourselves.
find the Achilles heel to AI is not enough water, and we need potable water for drinking because human life thrives on water. And I hate to be a doomsayer, but watch your 5G towers going up everywhere, because that's how it's all going to be communicated, through digital communication. So, my other website, zappfilms.com, ZAPPED, has tons of information about 5G, which is directly related to AI, because that's how they're going to use all the communication. And maybe that's why 6G is coming, so the computers can communicate to each other faster. So you may think you're online on Amazon or talking to Alexa. It's going to a huge database somewhere, recording everything you see and do. So they'll know that you like yogurt, and now they're doing it that you can get your shopping online in any grocery store. So they're going to know, okay, yeah, the grocery store will have a database which feeds into the, oh yeah, you like yogurt, you pick it up every Friday, you go there to buy your groceries Friday, and then every Wednesday you tend to go on Amazon to buy something, so it's delivered by the weekend. This is all being recorded and stored, and people don't realize that. And if you have Alexa or even a smart TV that's off, it can be like watching you live your life in your house, even though the TV's off. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of stuff is made in China. I'm not anti-Asian. Please don't get me wrong on that. I'm anti-communist. And they have a lot of insidious goals. So with these smart TVs and smart chips that are in everything, they're radiating a ton of microwave radiation. If you look at all the pictures of LA, people were posting pictures. This house didn't have a smart meter. The house melted behind it had a smart meter. So what is it about the smart meters and the fires that destroyed all the Pacific Palisades and all the fires in LA were generated through smart meters exploding inside the house? And so it's not as safe as you think. So you have to be judicious and observing the negative impact it could have in your life that's hidden behind the convenience. The convenience is a selling point.
And I think we're in this age where we want it fast, we want it quick.
Yes,
without
absolutely.
really thinking about, all right, what am I really accessing? And I notice, I love reading books, and I'm a researcher because I write as well.
Yeah.
And I notice a lot of times when I Google, I get this, what AI has put together. And I was like, I want to know the source. I'm used to the source so that I can give credit to the source. And sometimes I have to dig deeper to try to just find the source, because having a summary of information in accordance with AI, that's good, but I like to read the details of an article or the specifics, or know more maybe about the author and other writings.
Right.
But I'm finding more just the AI summary when I try to research a topic. And that's kind of, it has its advantages, but I love to dig deeper.
Yeah. Well, I recommend, some people don't like Wikipedia. I love it because it gives all the reference in the bibliography at the bottom. So whatever you're looking for, like, I don't know a lot about the dawn, post-World War II dawn of computers. So I just typed in history of computers leading to AI on Wikipedia. And it had all the source material with the people's names, the dates, the person who coined the term AI, and like MIT in 1957, post-World War II with the Manhattan Project, one computer programmer coined the term artificial intelligence. And I didn't know all that, but it was instantly available with that guy's name and his history on Wikipedia. So I find that's a great way to check sources rather than even the AI is probably pulling up that page. It gives you all the references to where that information came from with live links. So then you would click on Joe Schmo, who invented the term AI, boom, you would get his bio, the year he said it, where he said it, where he worked. So that's an incredible resource to I did it with my propaganda syndrome book that came out 9/11 of 2024, and I wasn't alive when all this stuff happened. The propaganda really started building steam in 1928 with Edward Bernays, and he was the guy who invented a couple going to their doctor smoking a Lucky Strike, saying, hey, this will keep you healthy, this is the best thing since baked bread, start smoking Lucky Strike or Camel. And look what happened 20 years later, lung cancer, and then the government gets involved when the people start suing. So what's going to happen 20 years from now?
Yeah, the impact.
Yeah, and what are they going to say? The robot made me do it?
And one of the things, of course, we may not have time before break, but I want to consider this perhaps when we come back.
Yeah.
We invest a lot in education, going to school to learn more, to prepare ourselves. And then by the time you graduate or whatever, maybe your job is obsolete. It's been done by AI. And I'd like for you, perhaps when we come back from break, to talk about what can we do when we feel we invest in ourselves and then the jobs are no longer going to be available.
Right.
This aspect of dehumanization of our skills and talents and what we
Mhm.
have paid for and invested in education that costs a
Absolutely.
lot of money. But
Mhm.
now, keep that thought,
Okay.
Gary.
Yeah.
But now we're going to take a brief commercial break. So for our listeners, don't go away. We'll be right back with more on Fact or Fiction, the AI Beast Unchained, with our outstanding guest, Gary Stuart, founder of the Constellation Healing Institute, global impact journalist, activist organizer, 6-time best-selling author, and he's going to share with us more about his upcoming book. So we'll return shortly. Stay tuned.
Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today.
I'm Judy Satori. I'm a spiritual channel and activator of human potential. You might have heard me speaking on the Voice of America on Dr. Jean Farish's show, Love Light, because I've been speaking about the challenges that are besetting all of us right now and how we can surrender but also keep on going. I want to invite you to join my new Facebook group that is devoted to heart-centered connection and unity. Through this Facebook group, you can also join my free access question and answer session with Spirit on the first Wednesday to Thursday of every month. Just search Ascension Community on Facebook to join the group. In this session, I answer questions and transmit energy from Spirit to give you guidance and support. Because life on planet Earth ain't easy right now. And there is so much help from above, from beings of love and light, from multidimensional realities who are actually here with us, wanting to step up and support us. I welcome you to become part of our ongoing group conversation about evolutionary change and how it's affecting us as human beings and affecting our life today. Many blessings to you. You can find out more about me and my work at www.ascensionlibrary.org. Have a wonderful day.
Announcing Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations. This is the companion piece to Dr. Farish's best-selling book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being. Through the new book, we invite you to cultivate a lifestyle of love through daily devotional practices over a 21-day period, following 9 ingredients in the recipe of love. Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations is available on Amazon.com and Balboa Press. Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published Magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to publishedmagazine.com.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Welcome back to Love Light, Living in the Spirit of Love. Our show today, Fact or Fiction, the AI Beast Unchained, is certainly informative and empowering for us in this new technological age with our outstanding guest, Gary Stuart, founder of the Constellation Healing Institute, global impact journalist, activist, organizer, 6-time best-selling author. And Gary, before we went on break, I posed the question, as humans, we invest in ourselves, our education, the knowledge, jobs, skills. And, my question is, then AI comes along and the jobs are being done by robots, So, I want to share my gifts and talents with the
Yes.
world. Many people want to share their gifts and talents, yet to find you're obsolete.
Right, absolutely. And that's one of the dangers of everything being automated. Back in the 50s, they had, just drive up and your food will come out. Then, of course, that led to microwave. You're a mother, you're busy here. Just pop this not aluminum thing, whatever in the microwave, this plastic thing in the microwave, and dinner's done in 2 minutes. What a convenience, microwave. They didn't tell you that the food was dead and it had no nutrition left in it. But they just
you
said,
have to heat it up in 2 seconds and eat it in
right.
2 seconds.
Right. So the average, I don't have to be hours cooking every night for the family, So yeah, with education that you mentioned, it's, do we want to bypass? There's multi levels to that answer. I'll do it quick and concise.
Okay.
Number one, we don't want to stop the new generation from thinking. AI being applied in the classroom, it does get kids excited. But to develop the human brain, we have to kind of challenge it. Even though I hated algebra and math, I mean, it was keeping my brain going, trying to figure out how, what, why, when.
Yes.
And I've never used algebra since I left high school or whatever. But I think keeping the human brain fertile and expanding with information and knowledge is important. So the danger is if AI does it all for you, it's going to stop critical thinking. And you won't have to figure anything out. I always felt like when I'm not a big math person, I don't know why I'm using that as a metaphor, but when kids could bring their calculators into math class, well, isn't the whole point of a math class to figure out a problem dividing, 2 into 10, equals 5 or whatever? And if you have a computer, okay, 2 into 10 equals 5, then you bypass the thinking process of a student in a math class by allowing mechanical devices, like a calculator. So we need the critical thinking and debate in a classroom, like the teacher, why is this true? Why is that not true? And like you said, what if the job is obsolete? You pay $100,000 for a 4-year degree or whatever the cost is now at a major university, and then there's no jobs. I mean, I read before AI, the people who graduated Harvard University were working as managers at McDonald's. That there were no jobs, that they spent all that money at Harvard for that PhD, and there was no work for them that matched their, scientific degree or whatever they had. I might be different than a math department or a computer department because it's all about coding and machines now. But the average person, what if they take humanities or Russian art? You know what I mean? Because that's where their interest lies. And they get out of college and it's like they're going to drown in unemployment, And
when I was working on my PhD, at Southern Illinois University, there was one main computer center at the university, and we all hung out there writing programs. But classes that I took in multiple regression and stat and everything, it's like, I remember we had a calculator and we had to do the formulas by hand.
Yes.
And I'm dating myself, before all the internet and Google, we didn't have that luxury, but I'm grateful because I had to read every article, I had to do things by hand. I had to understand everything, meet with my professors, and I value that education experience that I had. I wouldn't trade it for anything to have
absolutely
a quick fix,
me
Google
neither.
fix it.
Plus life experience as well. So that lends itself to kind of the elite, whether you look at the World Economic Forum, which has the wind knocked out of it with Trump being the new president, just letting the AI do your thinking for you, which is very dangerous because that's going to lead to transhumanism. And they're going to sell it like, well, your brain isn't good enough to think a thought, so let us hand it to you on a silver platter. And that will make us kind of drones rather than the individuated human beings with our skills and talents talents and dreams that we want to make come true during our lifetime. So this whole transhumanist thing to digitize people into being almost like automated beings, almost soulless. And that's the big deficit I want to make sure we mention today, is that AI does not have a heart and soul. So our gut instincts say morally, this is right, this is wrong, this feels good, this doesn't feel good. AI doesn't have that capability. Just imagine it's just a brain without a body. And sure, all the intelligence in the world does not necessarily make you smart. But when you balance your decision, hey, I got a gut feeling, I don't trust this. Even if it's I don't trust AI, that's good to have. Paranoia is healthy because things may not be they seem, or something feels good to your heart. You can say, yeah, my heart really resonates with this. I think that's truth. But we have, let's say, 3 levels of intelligence, which I call, redoing my website, ancestral intelligence. We have more intelligence from our ancestry that we inherited than 10 AI computer programs.
And Gary, I'm so glad you brought that point up, because if you just get so engaged with this artificial intelligence, you'll lose yourself.
Absolutely.
You lose what you have access to innately and divinely. And I love what you said about discerning, how do I feel about this? And, I love to read. I love the feel of a good book. I love to turn the pages.
Me too.
I love access to information that I can critically think about, because I was trained how to critically review articles and determine if this is good or not or whatever. And when we talk about AI, the legal and ethical ramifications of it, please share about us your book. That's going to come out. When is it going to come out? What information will it have?
Hopefully between April and June. So I'm a little behind because it's tax season and all the stuff I'm doing. So it's going to be 3 big chapters, past, present, and future, how we got to the information age post World War II, a lot about the past and the technological stuff, the man who invented the term AI, computers at MIT, and what they learned as the computer age got miniaturized. Used to be a computer would take up a whole house. Now it's down to your cell phone. You know what I mean? They said there's more computer data capability in our cell phone than there was sending people to the moon or outer space in everyone's cell phone, which is a transponder to 5G or whatever service you use. And then the present is where we're at the invasion of AI in every aspect of our life and what that means and who are the key players. What are the terms you need to know? LLM is large language model. Now there's the latest thing that's happening in 2025 is artificial generative AI. So AGI is the newest term that's just come out in the past few weeks. So it's evolving faster than I can keep up, but I really want to guide people into learning the terms so they'll know how it's impacting their life and which program is used by what terms. So they're all blending now images and languages together, which is the generative AI. Now they're calling it that everyone needs their own generative digital assistant. So it's like you'll have your personal secretary, which is your own personal AI bot that you'll pay a company like Google or Microsoft. Microsoft has Gemini, and Gemini was so flawed. Now Google came out with Gemini 2.0. Now I have a Samsung phone and I can get Gemini 2.0, but then they're going to start charging a monthly fee to add the AI assistant to my cell phone, which I'm resisting. So everybody's going to be selling you the latest convenience. In the future of the book, which is why I call the Beast Unchained, I'm not a big Christian. I consider myself more spiritual, but I think the Bible and Revelation warned us of a lot of things. And the fun I'm having with the book is I'm feeding Daniel 13, which is the big paragraph about the beast. I fed it into AI, and then AI responded in kind that it didn't think it was the beast, but it also said my programming is only that was done in April. So my program is only good through April 21st, 2024. So it couldn't go further about but I'll put it in again to a different AI and see what that comes. So part of the book is going to be a dialogue between me and AI in the book. So people can see my question, my summation of the answer with the heart and soul included and the AI's analytical data that it derived from my questions. So it's going to be a back and forth between me and AI throughout the whole book, which is a fun way to let people to see how AI thinks and how Gary Stuart thinks and the juxtaposition between the two.
Perfect. And I think one thing to consider is, even though we pay for this and pay for that, it's use of resources that impact our critical thinking. And I know we're going to be closing soon. Tell us about your services and how listeners can connect with you briefly.
Well, I'm so busy with everything, but I rebranded kind of my Gary Stuart Healing, which is about constellation healing, where we go into the ancestral field and all the information we inherited from our ancestors, which is like 10 data centers. So ancestralintelligence.com. So the acronym is AI. So I want to prove to people the human ancestral intelligence is a million times more knowledgeable than any computer program. And I also am the representative for Robert F. Kennedy's Children's Health Defense starting in February in Arizona. And he's endorsing stop5g.org. So even though Zap Films has a lot of information about 5G dangers, stop5g.org, who I'm going to be speaking on their behalf because it's the same information.
Okay, so they can go to your website and get access to information. And we are so thankful for you being here today. Congratulations to you on all the work that you've done, your new book that's forthcoming. And I know this has been a very empowering show for our listeners to become more knowledgeable, not take things for granted. Do not sacrifice and lose yourself at the expense and convenience of technology, even though we consider the benefits. But consider what's in the best interest. Choose a healthy balance in the best interest of yourself and society at large. And I'm going to close with an excerpt on self-discernment.
Great.
Trust the wisdom in your heart that is pure, peaceful, and gentle. Inner knowing resounds inner truth, bringing clarity, courage, and stability. Refrain from arguing with thoughts and distractions from what is right, good, and true. Be not deceived by empty words and false promises. Trust and honor your truth. Allow quiet time to be with yourself. Trust your gut feelings to guide your choices. Stand firm in your personal power. You will not be led astray. This is Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host. And until we meet again, remember, an empowered self is a loving self. And keep your love light shining. Much gratitude to Gary for being here today, and thanks to our listeners worldwide for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to Love Light this week. Be sure to join Dr. Jean Marie Farish again for another program next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and noon Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a wonderful week filled with love, self-worth, and better connections.